start YouTube streaming. There we go. I'm also gonna change the title of this thing. I'm gonna change the title, and I'm gonna change the title also on Twitch. There we go. Okay. So now I'm curious. Did Twitch register that thing as a separate stream? It did not. It understands that it's a single stream. Okay, that's cool. Okay. So, by the way, out of curiosity, so how are people enjoying these streams with Toggle? I don't know. For me, it's very fun. Like I'm having a good time. We do get to crack some jokes. I don't know. Is there any topic that people would like to see us talk about that we haven't talked about? I think we should make a okay. So everybody likes them. That's great. Yeah, Toggle is a great person to stream with. I super agree. Is there any topic that, like, I think we need to make a system where people can have, like, we have some kind of inbox system where people can submit ideas of topics to talk about. Keep it loosely technology and programming. Yeah, I mean that's definitely what we're gonna. Lori's the React streamer. Yes, this is my React streamer arc and anime. We should try to get Toggle through. Like we need to make Toggle anime literate. I would argue the fact that he was watching live, let's call live action movies and thinking that they were good, that is a big problem. Like we need to get Toggle through a anime boot camp of some kind. It's gonna take, I don't know, like 12 weeks long, but then the idea is that at the end of the boot camp he should have like some kind of certification that allows him to get a job in anime watching or something. But I kind of enjoying the organicness. Yeah, on that part, yeah, it's been great. Like we always had stuff to talk about. That is like so. Usually, our process right now is like this: we during the week we read stuff, read hacker news, see what stuff online, and then we sometimes share it in private chat, and we say, you know what, this might be. I found this link; it might be interesting to check it out during one of our streams. So this has been our process so far. And then every single time something else comes up one way or another. Like, for example, the part about, no GPU stuff or like AI generated PR recaps. That part was completely unscripted. That's for sure. That's for sure. Okay, so let me think about how I want to do this. So we're not chatting with ToggleBit anymore. This one is done. So we have these two things. I'm going to change this to Z compiler fuzzing stuff. And maybe that takes precedence. So we do this instead. Also, I think we can make this smaller and have more Bork instead. Hey, Matt. I showed out writing time fuzzing. Yes. Well, right in time. I mean, you missed out on some pretty good discussions with ToggleBit. We had some pretty nice jokes. Like the part about Sam Altman being the Warhammer 40k Emperor, that was really funny. Man, god damn it, these people. Yeah, you missed out that part. But yeah. Okay, so I think that the only thing that I need, honestly, is just a quick break to make a new cup of tea, take like 5 minutes away from the stream where I can like shut up, not talk, and relax, and then I think I'm ready to do a new session. So yeah, I think I'm gonna put a 10-minute timer so that I can do all this stuff, and then we're gonna start with the compiler development. So to give everybody like an idea of what I'm going for, you might have seen me try to get fuzzing working on macOS, and we succeeded. We got fuzzing working on macOS. Not the entire thing, because there's a web server part that did not work, but we actually got pretty far. So, what is our goal? Well, our goal basically is to package those changes in APR. The problem is that as I was changing things the last time, there was some fundamental issue with how linking works that did not seem solvable. Uh, but we got the insider information required to actually produce a full-fledged solution. Zig built-in fuzzing or AFL? Zig built-in fuzzing. AFL is dead to me. After the LVM19 regression on fuzzing, I don't want to see that thing ever again. It's actually not AFL's fault. AFL is actually still fine. It's LVM19 that is out of its mind. So no, Zig native fuzzing that keeps working also with LVM19, and then we actually can fully control, kinda. So yeah. So that's the plan, basically. PR fuzzing and get fuzzing from not working on macOS to working. Also, secondary fuzzing related side quest. Fuzzing also does not work on ARM Linux. There's a couple of ARM Linux problems that make fuzzing not work. So we need to also to fix them. Although, to be fair, my fix here, the fix for Mac, will also fix ARM. Although not in a perfect way. Sorry, there's a lot of statements that I have to leave unqualified because I would have to dive into the code to qualify them. But for now, this is going to be it. So yeah, let me go on that short break, and then we're going to work on this. So this is going to be our thing next. Z compiler fuzzing stuff. I don't think we have a relative issue for this. Maybe I can find one so I can leave it in the background. Source. Fuzzing infinite mode, introduce fuzz limit. Web server failure there. Fuzz test not discovered. Man, how many issues do we have about fuzzing? Holy cow. Oh, there we go. We do have one. So this is what we're solving. Okay, that's gonna be that's our goal. Let's solve fuzzing on macOS. We're not gonna be able to fuzz it all, like to solve it all, but we're gonna be able to make some good progress towards the success of this issue. Okay, let me go take my break. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry for the wait, everybody. So what are we talking about? Let's see. LLVM doing something insane. I can't imagine that. Yeah, LLVM, LLM, same old story. The V is silent in LLVM. Okay. So before we start, since I had still 2 minutes, let's invest the final 2 minutes into doing something. What do you do to relax before coding at your job? You browse Hacker News, right? So let's browse Hacker News. Let's see what's in there that's interesting. A database written in Golang. FFT strikes back. An efficient alternative to self-attention. Bifurcation. The secret giant islands formed when rivers split. Digi-cert drama? Wait, where is that? I went to SQL injection court. What? Where's the Digi-cert drama? Second and third page by now. Okay. What? What? Dear Messers? What is this? Messers? Is that it? This is the first time I see this. Based in Holland, this law firm represents DigiCert. We are writing to bring you to your attention recent false and misleading statements about DigiCert made by Sectigo's Chief Compliance Officer Tim Callan on the public Bugzilla forum. As discussed in detail below, we believe Mr. Callan's statements are designed to disparage and harm DigiCert by falsely and misleadingly characterizing DigiCert's terms, customer relationships, and actions in order to create a false impression that customers are exposed to certain risks by doing business with DigiCert. Mr. Callan's statements and implications are transparently designed to negatively impact DigiCert's reputation, goodwill, and customer relationships. We ask for your prompt cooperation and assistance. Blah blah blah. Okay, and a bunch of points. But where's the starting point? It's pluralized, Mister. Holy cow. Is this another entry? Yeah, no, it's the same entry that I found. Okay, where can I find a recap, though? Read the comment by Wayne. Okay, but is it here? Or is it on the Bugzilla? I'm assuming the Bugzilla. Okay. Oh, wait, do you read bottom up? Second comment? Wayne, okay. Second comment by Wayne. Wait, is that like a... Oh, second comment from the bottom. Okay, let's see. The very first thing I did on seeing this incident was not to read Saktigo's allegations, but the letter that DigiCert wrote. On those facts, as disclosed, it certainly reads poorly that this is consistent to DigiCert's desire to promote open and honest dialogue. Warningly, it is a target. It is a targeted legal threat at a named singular employee bolstered by baseless legal arguments. I was particularly amused when the Latham Act was butchered to breaking point to try to imply participation on a Bugzilla by your competitors is considered commercial advertising or promotion. Try to lead by example and have your team talk on other incidents publicly. Try to see where shortcomings exist in other CAs and how to push the community as a whole forward. If we're going to be open, transparent, and honest, when we need to acknowledge that, then we need to acknowledge that in November, someone made a terrible call and authorized that letter in the first place. Appreciate that in the time frame that DigiCert were dealing with the fallout of a TRO impacting their revocation. I would not be surprised if potential scenarios discussed were perhaps slept upon without proper understanding of the repercussions. Is this the comment that you said to read? I feel like I'm missing something more. It's already an embarrassing letter, but please. That's the comment. Okay. But please do everyone a favor and admit some fault here in the interest of transparency and with DigiCert highlighting the entrust distrust. I want to make clear that nothing even close to this was sent from Entrust side during the past year, or at least no one who's talked to me has hinted at anything close to it ever existing. Please consider this internally and try to improve their communication going forward. Okay, so what's the DigiCert? Okay, so this is a DigiCert account. Like, this is the DigiCert entity. This is the company itself. Like, it gained, all the employees held ends and they started acting like neurons and they started predicting the next token. And this is what came out of it. DigiCert is committed to the ideals that underpin this forum and the CA community. Interactions between competitors can sometimes be prickly, but we applaud your statement that the web KKI is best served by open, transparent, and honest debate about issues that impact our community. We strive to be consistent with this ideal in our statements and actions. We find ourselves in a strange position of having to publicly explain a private letter we sent to you. Yeah, no, you son of a bitch. How dare you? How dare you let others know about the letter our lawyers sent you? Our letter of intimidation that our lawyers sent you. That's November. Like any private correspondence between individuals, it is difficult for others to have the full context to understand the interaction, particularly if only reading passages excerpted and emphasized to make a particular point. In reality, our letter to you was consistent with our desire to promote open and honest dialogue. We encourage our participants in this forum to read the entire letter and be familiar with the activity in this forum that gave rise to our concerns. Okay, so you know what? Okay, what do you do? Like, this is a complicated matter, right? It's like certificate authorities. It has to do with like cryptography and like companies and like expectations and like laws. So, okay, you have a nice TLDR, which I will read in a moment, but I'm purposely not reading now because I think the right move at this point is like, you see that there's clearly too much text, right? So the right move at this point is to hop back to Hacker News and have an Hacker News comment tell me what I should be thinking. Let me find one that has some meat to it. This one sounds like it. This is a really stupid situation all around. To issue a certificate for a client, say example.com, the CA sends a random number challenge to the client. The client then responds by making a DNS record for that random number, but due to a bug, DigiCert accepted 1234.com instead. Apparently, there's a rule that says any such certs must be considered misissued and must be revoked by the issuing CA within 24 hours. The CA talked to some clients who said it would be too much trouble to replace their cert in such a short notice. One of those clients filed a lawsuit with the court system, which responded by issuing a restraining order telling the CA not to revoke the cert. Oh man, like this is serious business. Like, this is not anymore like, oh yeah, like, oh my God, the like software drama. This is like going back into courts in the real world. Okay. First of all, this is a dumb reason to revoke certs. It's difficult to imagine a situation where any of the misissued certificates correspond to an actual compromise of somebody's website by a bad actor, but we can perhaps give the benefit of the doubt. I think the intent here is a file-safe procedure is implemented so revocation is triggered by a broad class of circumstances, which is constructed so that it's easy to check. Second, this is a dumb thing for a website to file a lawsuit about. If you have to replace the cert on your website because your CA made a boo-boo, the engineer hours needed to change out your new certificate are far less than the lawyer hours needed to try and work through the court system. Third, it's dumb for people to blame DigiCert for the TRO. The TRO was filed by a service provider called Allegius. If DigiCert doesn't follow the TRO, they will be in contempt of court. Theoretically, a DigiCert employee who presses the revoke button at this point could be sent to jail for it. Fourth, a certificate revocation is basically a signed message that says, newsflash, I think this certificate may not correspond to this website. A court preventing the publication of such a message is equivalent to a court preventing a newspaper from publishing an article. This is called prior restraint, and it has a high bar in the US. Prior restraint analysis was not performed by the court before the TRO was issued. I think the court violated DigiCert's due process rights by not analyzing whether prior restraints applies, and DigiCert's free speech rights by not denying the TRO as it would be prior restraint. That browsers have a hair trigger response to certain kinds of news flashes and will take drastic action isn't the fault of the publisher of the news. Fifth, it's obvious there ought to be some technical means to prevent this kind of situation in the future. What is the protocol to handle a case of a CA refusing or court ordered not to revoke certs known to be compromised? I think you need to have a system that allows a quorum of CAs, not including the issuing CA, to speedily revoke certificates or an entire CA. And I'm not really sold about this point. It's like, yeah, okay, now you're bypassing what the court is saying, but then somebody comes up with some, I don't know, meta court. Like, you're not, like, the problem is, like, if something like this happens and it's wrong, I guess my point is that this doesn't seem something that you should try to solve with technology. Okay, let's see what Grey Hatter was saying. The TLDR, DigiCert authorized thousands of certs with the random variable not prefixed by an underscore as required. They got a TRO telling DigiCert they can't revoke 70 certs, so they didn't revoke thousands for reasons, I guess. Then, when they were poked by the community for that fuck up, they did everything but admit they fucked up and tried to weasel out of it, refused to answer honestly, and basically acted like children. They got roasted correctly for acting like a fool. Then keep doubling down on the bad decisions. Man, serious business. What a story. So, like, what are these 70 websites that don't know how to rate certificates, man? Those are definitely 70 websites that I do not want to visit. A reseller for insurance billing and HSA. I don't know what HSA is, but okay. A WebAssembly runtime implemented in TypeScript types. Okay, I hadn't read types. I read up until TypeScript, and I was about to say, man, why are people doing this dumb shit? And then it's TypeScript types. Okay, then it's super dumb shit, and of course you should totally do it. Can it run Doom? God damn it, man. Health saving accounts, special bank account for untaxed income. I see. Hey, Mlug, how's it going? Welcome back. So you're back. I'm gonna do some fuzz testing work on the compiler. I'm gonna try to implement what Andrew and Jacob Lee mentioned yesterday, the magic byte symbol hack, and see if LLVM will comply. Okay, let me increase font size so you guys can enjoy big font size. Okay, what's our plan? So we go into Zig source. That's our Zig checkout. We are in the deprecated proposal branch. We don't care about that one anymore. So now we're going to switch to macOS fuzzing. So actually, we're going to switch to master branch. Let's take a detour to master branch. git switch master, git pull. I know that I didn't need to go here and do git pull. I could have done git fetch, I guess, and maybe it would have worked also, but whatever. So we move forward to our master branch. By the way, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Do we have deprecated? Oh man, we don't have deprecated yet. What? Why is this stupid CI failing all the time? Broken pipe. Oh, no. Oh, that's not me. Who merged broken Spear V stuff? You probably just need to never break trunk. You probably just need to disable the test on some backend. But that's not me. Oh no, it might be me. Yeah, no, that's not my thing. No, that's not my thing. Code Gen Spear V, like what the heck? Man, who's breaking? Never break trunk. You know, I'm like, well, you weren't here. Me and Toggle were going through Git Zig commits, and he came to the conclusion that some of your commits were actually LLM generated. I tried to talk him out of it. I tried to defend your honor, but he didn't accept it. He didn't have it. Like he was that convinced that your stuff was LLM generated. I don't remember which ones. I think his conclusion was all of them, but okay, so let me see. So this one, is this one another Spear V one? Note. Error. Illegal pointer arithmetic on pointer of type. That is not true. Link. Make sure Macho closes the damn files. Windows is a ridiculous operating system designed by toddlers, and so okay, this is definitely not generated by AI, but man, you are doing this thing that I hate. I am appalled that this is the standard, by the way. I get it. I'll do it myself too, but we should do better. We should do better than this. In any case, I'm talking about the indentation stuff, like the new line stuff. In any case, Windows is a ridiculous operating system designed by toddlers, so it requires us to close all file handles in the temp/xxx cache there before renaming it to O. We have a hack in place to handle this for the main output file, but the Metro linker also supports a file with debug symbols, and we weren't closing it. This led to a fuck ton of CI failures when we enabled .whole cache mode by default on self-hosted backends. Huh. Blame GitHub? Well, I think, well, no, it's not exactly GitHub, right? I mean, all right, I guess it depends on how you want to interpret the message. Like if you interpret it as like Markdown, then this new line wouldn't have semantic meaning, and so I guess it would be, you could say that that's GitHub's. GitHub should absolutely be unwrapping. It does that in some places. What? It does that in some places and not in others? Okay, GitHub moment then. So the Meco linker was causing Windows, was causing failures on Windows because files were not being closed before moving the directory. That is interesting, that's for sure. But also, so what was the behavior then? That the file, what was the behavior of this thing? What would happen to the file handle? This DCI run is still failing, but I don't know why. But so, but the process, okay, so what I'm guessing is that the rename just fails if there are open handles. Okay, so that's what you were experiencing. Okay. At least it makes sense. Wait, but so it means that macOS tests were broken on Windows since forever then. Oh no, it's related to the fact that you had a PR there where you switched to hold mode. Okay, so you switched to hold mode, you trigger this you trigger this problem, and so now you were trying to get your PR merged. Like okay. Yeah. Okay. Nice. Cool. But now my stuff is not getting merged because of this dumb stuff. Just press the merge button at this point. Maybe wait for the Arch ones to succeed and then just press the merge button. You will fix my thing. What's there to fix? What's there to fix? Just merge the change and then go ping Snectron for messing up Spurvy. I'm assuming that's him who broke that part. Okay, so what are we doing now? So we pulled master. We're gonna switch to macOS fuzzing. Snack did nothing wrong. I don't know, man. I saw Spurvy. Who's touching Spurvy then? Just a bad merge order. Oh. So git switch fuzz macOS. We rebase. Actually, what's their status? So I have a working progress comment. Commit git log -p. We have inted. We have the symbol renames. Okay, so this is where I left off. We have the server commented out. We'll need to. Well, we can't leave it commented out, I guess. I guess we can comment it out conditionally for macOS as a temporary thing. And then we have the renames here. Okay. Okay. So we need to make a zig2 for this. So I'm gonna zig1. I'm gonna zig1 build zig2. Freak. Missing slice cast len remainder. I think we might need to rebuild zig1 as well. Zig1 rebuild time, I guess. But we don't have to watch it build. We can start hacking on the code in the meantime. Should be fine. Hopefully. So what do we want to look at? Let me zoom out a little bit. So we start, I think we should start from LVM. Look at the Sankov stuff. So this is the new Sankov stuff. And I think what we want to do in here is yeah, we have this data colon Sankov counters. So okay, let me think for a moment. This stuff seems actually fine. Let me look at the diff in the meantime. So that part seems fine. This part needs to be, we need to undo these changes in its syntactic sections. Yeah, this is all in Macho, right? Yeah. There we go. So like these are the parts. So like segment start should lose the underscore. This should lose the underscore. This should lose the underscore. This should lose the underscore. Yep. It prefix. Okay. There's more though. Where's the other stuff? Yeah, this stuff here. Allocate synthetic symbols. Same file, I guess. Yep. Got a bunch of underscores in here that we want to remove. Also, this if is really sus to me. I'm not sure this should be an if. Maybe it should. I don't know. Okay. So this part was undone. Is anything else that we need to undo? Internal object. Okay. If else unreachable is weird, why? Where did you see this? And what's the problem with it? So this part is fine. We have a random print in here in get nav other. Well, we have the random panic. I'm gonna keep it there for a while more, I think. But yeah, we need to get rid of it eventually. So okay, this is still building. Let's look at the plan for a moment. So fuzzer.zig. This is the fuzzer. And currently the fuzzer has one peculiarity with it. There's a bunch of debug that we keep commented out, so that's fine. Although, actually, why do we actually even keep it commented out? I don't think we need to. Not available because we already have PC tracing via 8-bit counters. Okay, so this is like just not... Okay, so this is why this stuff is commented out. Ender doesn't like it. We have the initted stuff. Yes, so this is all good. Okay, let me find the extern definitions. Where's my externs? There we go. Okay, so we have the weird externs here. The way this needs to work is then we put a 0. We put a 1 byte here. That is the fix, apparently. Okay, maybe I should explain the problem to everybody. So here's the situation. Compiling fuzzing requires creating two separate compilation units, one for the fuzzer, one for the code that you want to fuzz. The reason why we need two compilation units is because you want to build the fuzzing test code with instrumentation enabled, while you want to build the fuzzer itself with instrumentation disabled. If your fuzzer ends up being instrumented, it means that you are fuzzing the fuzzer itself, like the fuzzer runtime, which is not what you want to do. It's not the end of the world, but it's like, it's wasteful. And you want the fuzzer to be fast. Like the fuzzer, of all things that need to be fast, the freaking fuzzer needs to be super fast. So for it to be effective. So there's separate compilation units. So what's happening right now is that on macOS, symbols get an extra underscore at the start once they get generated, and apparently that's something that LLVM does automatically, implicitly, because it's the platform standard. The problem is that if it does that, then there's a symbol that remains unresolved between in the fuzzer compilation unit that then should be supplied by the tested code compilation unit. And the tested code compilation units is using some special symbol prefix matching, name matching scheme. And off of that, it tries to find these symbols and like replace them with the actual value that they correspond to. Hey, Mr. Halsey, thank you for the raid. Hello, everybody. So the problem with this is that if in the meantime the linker puts an extra underscore in here, then the symbol doesn't match anymore because the prefix has an extra underscore. And you were seeing in my old code that I was basically, to make this work, I started adding underscores everywhere, and that made it work. The problem is that it only works if that symbol comes from a different compilation unit. If that symbol was defined in the same compilation unit, then there wouldn't be the underscore there. And so basically this mechanism would only work across compilation units and not within the same compilation unit. And so that is bad. So basically we need a way of unifying these two use cases. And let's see, but if it's a workaround, we'll probably add something to external options to handle this eventually. Yeah, but I mean, yes, you're not going to hard code maybe the 0x1 in here, but yeah, the thing is, apparently to stop LVM from adding an extra underscore in front of a symbol name, you have to put a 1 byte in front of it. So either you put it here or you put it somewhere else, but I find this really funny that this is what ends up happening no matter what. So so for now, I'm trying to see if adding this 01 here makes the thing work. So hello, Raiders. Today I am doing zcompiler fuzzing stuff. So the zcompiler has native fuzzing support, which is pretty cool, but there is a open issue to support macOS. The fuzzer was implemented by Andrew as when he started doing the work, he made it work for Linux, but for macOS there's more stuff that needs to be done. And so I'm working on some of the things required to make fuzzing work on macOS. Okay, so I see that some people were looking into it a while ago and then probably stopped being interested. So I'm picking up the torch from them. So we need to rebuild our compiler toolchain. So I'm rebuilding compiler toolchain. And yeah, in the meantime, so we put 0x1 in here. This in theory, so here's how we're gonna test that what we just did works. I'm gonna run a fuzz process. As part of running fuzzing testing, we will recompile the fuzzer. I will look at the fuzzer intermediate artifacts and see if they contain the symbol name without the underscore prefix. And if it does, and also without this weirdo 01 byte. So if it does, you know what? I don't think we solved anything actually though. No, maybe we did. Well, I think right now... Okay, so if it's across compilation units, let me think. If this is across compilation units, we write here 0x1, but then the linker generates these undefined symbols without the 0x1, and so everything matches. But if we are within the same compilation unit, we write it like this, and then it won't match. I'm basically, okay, with this workaround, I'm trading one form of breakage with another, basically. So yeah, this is definitely not the final solution. This still does not solve the problem when this feature is used within the same compilation unit. But at least this is less pervasive than the other change. Like the other change required to put underscores everywhere and it was pure cancer. This one is, yeah, more self-contained. So I guess now we're waiting LLVM emit object. I should print that t-shirt, just LLVM emit object. Can't wait to not have to stare at that anymore. Or at least not as much. Okay, in the meantime, I don't know. If anybody wants to chat about anything, feel free to ask. I'm thinking, so I have to decide when to do the Raycaster in a weekend stuff. Imagine running Arch64 and hence being unable to use the self-hosted backend. Look, listen here, man. Listen. This is how you're treating Mitchell. This is how you're treating Mitchell Hashimoto, who has donated a bunch of money to the ZSF, who has created a kick-ass terminal emulator that I bet you're using yourself right now. This is what you're doing to Mitchell. Okay? Like, let me Indian here. This is how you're treating Mitchell, man. I need to switch away from Ghosty. What's her issue with Ghosty? In any case, I'm not interested in your legacy architectures. It has some major bugs that interrupt my workflow. Report the bugs, get them fixed, or fix them yourself. Man. Mitchell can't repro. Then maybe the bug. Have you considered that maybe the problem is between the chair and the desk? So far, so good, I think. Oh, this one. This one happens to me as well. This one actually happens to me as well. Actually, you know what? I don't remember how, but I can replicate that actually fairly reliably. It happens to me as well. I don't remember though how. When I stumble upon it, I'll try to see if it's something that I can replicate. But I've experienced it a bunch of times. Oh, there you go. So now we're seeing that it's more of a you problem then. I use a tiling VM and move windows around a lot. Well, check this out. Check this superpower. Ooh. No. Grey Hatter. The idea is that stuff goes under issues once once it's clear how to fix it. For example, this is not, if there's no repro and there's no clear like diagnosis or exactly what's causing it, then it's not like the idea. Okay, maybe there's more nuance than what I remember, but I remember reading about this idea by Mitchell. The idea is that you just put on issues something that a new contributor would be able to immediately pick up and do, right? So the idea is you try to make it as appealing as possible to contributors. Well, you make the list of issues as appealing as possible to contributors. That's the idea. So, I guess the point is that the cutoff point is not really a matter of policy. The cutoff point, like the intended result, is that if you're a new contributor to Ghosty, you open you open the. Why am I going through this? Through this complicated process? I had Ghosty open. Oh man, GitHub. So the idea is that you open issues, and then pretty much everything in here is something that you can tackle right away, because there's already a plan on how to solve it. It's just a matter of doing the work. So the one from MLAG is not something where you know what the work should be, because the bug is real. It has been reported as a real bug. But then you still need to do the investigation to figure out what's causing it. While the idea is that everything in here is like, it literally has instructions on how to do it, right? This is really cool. Like, if I have to be be honest, well, it's not really a matter of that. But when it comes to Zine, for example, the few times I've done that, those are issues that were immediately closed. Like. Where is it? Yeah, like add git info into build. And so I had like instructions on how to get started, and boom, people right away, well, not right away, it took a moment, August to October, but then somebody took on it and actually did it. It was pretty cool. Okay, so the bar is not that high. Okay, but at least you need something that can be reproduced reliably. I see. Are we done building? Okay, we're finally done building. Man, finally. Okay, now that we're done building the Z compiler, we can finally build the Z compiler. So give it a moment, because after building the Z compiler, you have to build the Z compiler. So now we're waiting to build the Z compiler again. Technically, I could use Zig1 for this thing. Let's see. Bro? Oh, I opened main.o. No, I opened main the executable. Okay. Let me remove deprecated. Verbose link. Okay, undefined symbol. Oh, there we freaking go. Is this a single space? It is a single space. Okay, so these symbols do not have the magic prefix. That seems very promising, but the fact that they remain unresolved, that's problematic. They should have been resolved. Why weren't they resolved? So there's something more that we need to investigate, but let me find, where's the freaking libfuzz? Libfuzz? Libfuzz. Oh, there we go. Libfuzzer. So LVM-NM-U. So these are all undefined symbols in libfuzzer. And yes, these bad boys do not have a underscore prefix. So apparently there's this feature of LLVM where you put a byte of value 1 at the beginning of a symbol name, and that saves you from the underscore. I guess they call it mangling, like the extra underscore that everybody puts, that the tooling puts at the beginning, so you can get rid of it. And it also removes the 01 byte, so there should not be a 01 byte in here that we're not seeing. Like, it should have been chopped off by LLVM. Fancy stuff. I'm curious. LLVM macOS /x 01. Where is this stuff even documented? Like, how do you even know about this stuff? Like, searching returns nothing. Like, if you don't have Jacob Lee telling you, how do you learn this stuff? Did he? Oh, he looked it up in the C++ source code? You know, Claude knows though, man. Claude knows. In LVM, a symbol name prefixed with 01, byte value 1, indicates a private symbol that should not be included in the dynamic symbol table of the resulting object file. That's not exactly. Maybe this is also true. I don't know, but this is not what we're doing right now. Local symbols that should be hidden from external linkage. Compare generated symbols, e.g., for temporary variables or internal functions. Yes. Symbols that should have their visibility restricted. The linker treats these symbols differently during symbol resolution and export, helping to reduce the size of the dynamic symbol. This convention is part of LLVM's approach to symbol mangling and visibility control in its object file generation process. That is... I don't think that's... Well, the LLM kind of knows, but it doesn't really know, no. Jacob Lee still beats the LLVM, the LLM hands down. So if I do zig2, I expect the same result, but this still doesn't answer why does it not link. Oh, it does link. Wait a second. Remove zig cache. Remove the zig cache. Big cache, huh? Bro? It's not that big. Come on, man. "25 seconds. Holy cow. Sam Altman should just clone Jacob instead of insisting on building LLMs. Yeah, maybe. Let's not give him weird ideas. Okay, so it actually succeeds. Okay, so this is actually really good. So it does work. You know what though? I'm not happy with seeing it just work. I want to see it also fail. So let's add some failure condition. So now I'm removing the Sankov start PS1. I don't even need to rebuild the compiler. I expect now to get a unresolved symbol error because the symbol now is going to gain back the extra underscore. There we go. Okay, we failed successfully. So this works. So all along, all we needed to do was add a underscore symbol. Although, wait, no, now we have a second problem. Why is this fuzzing forever? Oh, maybe it's not a problem. Maybe that's on me. Maybe I removed the thing that could crash from the fuzz example. Yeah, basically we have like a thing that is impossible to crash. Now we can crash. And actually, you know what? Let me show the demo to everybody. Or you know what? We can do it in a split screen. Oh, there's a version of 01. Nice. Yeah, I mean, it finds it so fast. You can't even watch it. You can't even watch it figure it out. It's just too fast. Okay, so we find a crash. I think the problem is that if I run it again, I guess you want to watch maybe one. Is that a thing? Yeah, you want to watch one. And I think one doesn't know what to do because it can't. It's trying hard to find new spaces, but there's no new space. Like the only crash that it could find was found. So there's pretty much nothing more it can do. Okay. But I do remember that. Let me see if we have a problem. Because what if there's like two crashes? So main fast example, and there's like one is embedded boy, the other one is banana, and the third one is cherry. So we want to do this. Oh, this might not be touching 0. One doesn't get touched. Two is being touched, but it's not making progress. It's still not figuring out that the other crashes exist. And now, out of curiosity, if I kill this and I go back to catting 0 and I remove 0, we start again from scratch. I think this is going to find the first crash right away. Like it's going to find the meta boy right away. And then the fuzzer is going to crash because it crashes when it finds a crash. But then after that, it's not going to know how to proceed, I think. Yeah, so it finds a meta boy right away. And then it dies. Do we have one? One doesn't exist yet, so we run it again. And in one, it's trying to find something, but it just cannot make progress. Okay, so there's certainly something funky going on with the fuzzer there. We'll need to figure it out because obviously this is not functional. There we go. Identifiers. Name values are represented as a string of characters with a prefix, blah, blah, blah. The 01 prefix can be used on global values to suppress mangling. Yeah, okay, so this is what Jacob Lee figured out. Cool stuff. Very cool stuff. Okay, so what's our next step? I think our next step is to basically package this as a PR that we can merge into main branch that fixes some problem with fuzzing. Should we try to investigate why this thing is not making any sense though after it finds one crash? It's a different type of work. I think it's best to just commit this change set. Well, to make this change set committable and then commit that so that we can make some progress for everybody. And then in a second attempt, try to diagnose why this is not working as intended as is. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Okay. So we want to fix our commit. So we're going to do commit with amend to amend our changes, but we don't want to do that too early because there's a bunch of names that we have messed up that we want to recover. You know what? I'm gonna start again from the top. So, do we want this change? Yes, we do. This one is fine. This one is good. This one is good. This one is good. This one. Okay, can we make this better? Yo, Giacomo, thank you for the raid. Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, what were you guys working on? What's happening in Gleamland? So, raiders, in the meantime, I'll tell you what we're doing here. So Zig has native fuzz testing support, but right now it's being implemented for Linux. We're missing fuzzing on support on macOS. I figured out what was wrong on macOS, and now I need to basically package it as a nice PR that can be merged. Because I did some changes. I did some changes in a somewhat destructive way, so that I hard coded like stuff for macOS. Obviously, you don't want to do that. And so now that I figured out the problem, I'm gonna try to make it nice and usable, basically. Let's see, adding some pretty cool features to the compiler at the moment. Okay, cool. So here is another thing that we encountered, which is the problem that we're input. When length of the old input is 0, then we're basically forcing going into add byte. One issue with this approach. So let's look at the code. I was saying that I didn't want to touch the fuzzer logic too much, and I don't. But I think this is something that might be worth. So in this change set, basically, we're adding a branch. On every branch of this switch has an if in it, which is very annoying. Except this one. This one doesn't have it. Like these two have it though. And the thing is that you want this thing to be as fast as possible. So how do we make this better? Is there a way of making it better, for example? So so here's the problem. The problem is that, by the way, this function here, RNG uint less than biased, no definition found. Come on, man. ZLS, you could do better than this. The problem is this gives us a random. So function uint less than biased. This is an assert that the number is greater than 0. So this function cannot be invoked with the value 0 because it trips an assert. So the question is there like a mathematical way of making the number better in an unconditional way? Let's see, interesting. Does this have to do with linker stuff you were working on the other day? Yes, this is entirely it. The problem was that fuzzing was relying on a linker piece of functionality that on macOS worked in a funky way. And so after diagnosing exactly what was going wrong, now I'm able to package, I guess, a solution for it. But it was entirely it. Yeah, entirely it. And maybe I'll add some extra context for you, Giacomo, if you're interested. So the idea is this. So Zig has fuzzing, but more precisely, it has coverage guided fuzzing. So it has fuzzing that can hook into coverage instrumentation, code coverage instrumentation. And that way it can know if the fuzzer has made progress or not with a given input. If you pair this concept with inefficient string comparisons, so if you purposely, when fuzzing, of course, only when fuzzing, you make your string comparisons inefficient, meaning you make your string comparisons happen byte by byte, then that means that every time you get a byte right in a comparison, that will register as a new code coverage, like as a new unique point reached in the program. So that way you can have your fuzzer basically figure out passwords. Obviously, that's not exactly the point. The point is that if you have, for example, a tokenizer, and your tokenizer is searching for matches, the fuzzer will be able to observe these string comparisons byte by byte, and it will automatically figure out what is the input that triggers a string comparisons to succeed eventually, because it does so byte by byte and very, very, very quickly. So once you have the system in place, basically fuzzing tokenizers becomes an absolute breeze. And that in general becomes the starting point for then fuzzing in an intelligent manner your entire program. So the way this works is basically by leveraging code instrumentation, which is something that normally, if you're using LLVM as a backend, is provided by LLVM. So LLVM will, the LLVM in combination with your compiler will put interesting things, like it will put like callbacks here and there it will put calls to functions that you can define yourself in your fuzzer. So the thing that runs the fuzzing process. And so that way the fuzzer can observe when a given point is reached. There's also another system called 8-bit counters. So there's a few different ways. But in any case, it's basically something that you do in combination with the compiler, and it relies also on linker features in order to be able to basically obtain this information and make it accessible to the fuzzer, even if your program is split up into multiple compilation units, multiple object files, then you're linking together at the end at the same, that you're linking together at the end. So it's, I don't know. It's not mind-blowing, but it's also not terrible. Let's see, you could remove the two ifs by adding one that changed mutation to add byte when len is 0. Well, at the end of the day, that wouldn't be an improvement, though, over this, don't you think? Because in the end, you remove one if statement, you remove the machine code for one if statement, but then you still have one if that runs every loop of mutate and run 1. DuxDev, hi everyone. Are there any news regarding the 0.14 release? If you haven't seen it, siglang.org news. Good news! 0.14 is delayed. And the main reason is that it has been moved because there's a good chance that Jacob will have progressed the x86-64 backend far enough that we can enable it by default for debug mode on ELF targets. So the hope is to close this issue before release. And if that happens, it means that on x86-64 Linux, in debug mode, you will get like fast builds, very fast builds. Not the fastest builds ever, but fast builds. Bye-bye, Giacomo. Thank you for the raid. So how do we get rid of this stuff? So we could put a max value between this guy and 1. And so we only take the max. I don't know though what the machine code, what the generated machine code looks like. So we could do this. I don't think it requires a new line. Let me zoom out a little bit more. You can remove a byte from an empty slice. Oh yeah, am I doing something dumb? Let me think. Oh yeah, this is wrong. I would even say, should we even attempt empty inputs? Should we even attempt empty inputs? Maybe the answer is that we should try to never go to 0. But then you can't have an empty input. That's a case that you're basically taking out of your fuzzer. You should try empty inputs. Well, there's no point in pluralizing it because it's only one, the empty input. Maybe you could even say that what the fuzzer should do is always start with an empty input. So you could say that the fuzzer always starts with an empty input and you try it once. And again, the point is you want to try it once, right? The empty input, you don't try it multiple times. There's no point, right? It's a one-time thing. So maybe the fuzzer starts by trying out the empty input. Maybe, as far as we know, maybe that's already what happens. Let me see the code. So start RNG, grab the corpus, which is namespace based on unit test name. If the corpus len is 0, oh, it finds a random length and runs one with F and 0. So if we were to always start with empty, then what we could say is that remove byte should not, like we put an if only in remove byte. We say that remove byte should not work if len is 0. Let's see how would this work? Yeah, no, we should say it's not 0. It should say if all input len is 1, then we switch to something else. Or we don't do anything. We switch to modify byte, maybe. System specs? I don't know. It's a Mac Mini. Also, why do you care? Why do you care so much about my specs, man? It's just a computer. The specs are not that interesting anymore. They used to be more interesting in the past. Like, I don't know, maybe if I was doing, I don't know, weird AI stuff, I could see caring about it to some degree, but it's just a computer. I'm just programming a computer. So I guess we could RNG again from here, or we could hardcode a path. So obviously hardcoding a path would be more efficient, but would that remove expressiveness? Is anyone attending Hydrat Boy on Friday? I'm not this year, but I think it should be interesting. I'm looking forward to when the videos get published. I'm assuming they will. So we can say all the input. If it's 1, then we continue. I would continue maybe to modify byte. It puts a bias on modify byte rather than add byte. But it's not a big bias. Maybe in the end it doesn't hurt. And we keep modify byte more efficient that way. Yeah, I think this is fine. I mean, I need to update ZLS. Let me see. Mac don't have specs, but somehow they get better every release. Oh yeah, every release is the best release ever. It's a Mac Mini with an M2 chip, and I don't know, it works pretty well. M2 Pro, no complaints there. So we never allow the slice to get to length 0. Although having this deterministic start with an empty thing is maybe problematic. Also, what does run? How does run 1 work? You can call it multiple times, right? Oh, wait a second. Wait, what are we talking about? Corpus index. Oh, old input append slices some capacity. Wait, what's corpus index then? Oh, we're given the corpus index. Oh, I see. I guess, what is it? Mutate and run 1. Chosen index modification is rng.enum value. Chosen index. Corpus items len. Okay, so in the main loop, we chose from the corpus 1 input at random. We choose a random mutation, and we run mutate and run 1. And I'm guessing we create a new corpus entry later on when we evaluate in mutate 1, we evaluate the result of our thing, and if we like what we see, like if it's a new thing, first check if this is a better version of an already existing input, replacing that input. Okay, so we could replace an input, or otherwise we append corpus. Init next input. I think we should start the corpus always with also an empty input, maybe. Although at the end of the day, this is like, you know what? I'm gonna do all these changes. It doesn't matter much. There's no obvious clear cut solution here, so it's fine. Okay, so we got this stuff working. Let's get this patch working. So okay, also got ZLS. Is the switch now working? Okay, now new ZLS knows about switch labels. Cool. That wasn't me for not updating. You like terminal editors more than GUI ones? I see you're using mouse anyway, like most of us. Yeah, I'm not the best. I'm not the most proficient TUI terminal, like TUI editor user. I think that the endgame editor is not a terminal editor, because there are limitations in terminals that are annoying, that GUI things can do better. But at the same time, I don't see the perfect GUI editor existing yet. So far, I'm fine with the terminal one. They're practical. The fact that you can open them in a terminal directly, it's handy. Because like you're not context switching from the terminal to something else, right? You're like tapping out basically in the terminal. So that's easier. Although technically I could tap in and out between two different applications if I wanted to set it up. But it's like, it's one of the situations where, worse is better to some degree. When it comes to Helix specifically, I like the way keybinds work in Helix. So far, what's keeping me in the terminal more than anything else is Helix keybinds. I learned them. I know how to use them. I find them comfortable. They're cool. So I'm happy. I'm happy with the workflow that I have with Helix. Yeah, I use the mouse still. Like I'm still mouse gang, but so far, even in any case, Helix does support the mouse. So yeah, I don't hate what I can do with the mouse in here. Like I like it anyway. Yeah. The one thing that I really miss is the ability to click on a error line and have the editor take focus and send me to the correct line. But at the same time, now with the LSP integration, you get that integrated with the LSP because you get diagnostics, right? So you go next diagnostic, previous diagnostic, and so that way I don't even need to click on error lines anymore. I'm pretty sure TUI editors can do everything a GUI editor can. Well, not the click one though. The click one they can't. Like the idea being you have another thing here, right? Where you have the compiler error and then you click the error line and that moves focus to the editor and then has the editor go to the right line. That part doesn't work. But you can obtain the same end result through different means, I guess. Yeah. You can count for focus in a TUI app too. Yeah, cool. But the whole thing, as far as I know, it's not okay. Do you have that working, for example, in your editor? Because as far as I know, there's still problems with getting that to work. If you can, I would delighted to see it work. But last I checked, it wasn't really a thing that it was actually working on any of the editor that I knew about. Yeah, if you have the shell in a second buffer, then yeah. That's another way of making it work. Yeah, that way or the LSP. But in any case, you know what? Since those methods are like are gonna be my preferred method going forward, the LSP one, I think, especially, it doesn't matter at this point. Like whether this is fully working for TUIs or not, I guess it doesn't matter to me much. The rest is, yeah, you know what, Neuroside, I want to see the different font size stuff playing out. I want to see what editors end up doing with that one. Flow has no IPC yet, but it will support opening files. I will support opening files when it does. Nice. I'm gonna be really curious to see how that looks like. Honestly, I have never seen anybody have that stuff working on terminal editors. Okay. So this tab can close. We're saying this part is fine. This part is fine. We're not touching it. This part we are touching. We need to restore the old names on Linux. Okay, how do we do this? I guess we switch the entire external invocation. Do we switch the entire external invocation or do we switch the name? Maybe we just switch the name. I think everything else can be the same. Can you have a function append a platform specific prefix? Yeah, we could do that. That's a good point. Maybe that's also some part of what we should do. There's also a problem though with this fatal message because the problem is that missing this symbol, missing that symbol. The problem with this message is that it's actually not start and stop on macOS. So we'll need to personalize that thing as well. No, I think that will have to be like an outer switch, I guess, not an inner one. Abort. Abort. Right. Double underscore before, 3 underscores after Sankov CNTRS counters. There we go. Actually, I could do this, I guess. Delicious. Why not have const names equals what? And have structs there with nice decals. Nah, that's fine. Although it's true that we would have multiple unsupported OS stuff. Also, this is Linux. Let's put Linux at top. Okay, this is one. Let's go. Okay, so PC counters is good. Now we do PC start. There we go. Okay. Almost done. That's actually correct. There we go. And we need else. Okay. So this part as is should be correct now for Linux and macOS. So Linux keeps doing its own thing. macOS has the special weirdo stuff. To-dos for other platforms. Then what else do we need to do to commit? There's a panic that we need to remove. Oh, yeah, this web stuff, web server stuff. Which file is this? Fast.zig. Yeah, so about this stuff. There's also a defer. So because there's a defer, we can't even easily wrap it in just a namespace. That's annoying. Well, in a scope. We need to use flags to protect this stuff. Oh, you know what? Maybe we can do that in web server run and web server coverage run. Like we run them every single time. But then instead of run, we do nothing if it's macOS. Which AI website do you use for Cloud 3.7? I go to cloud.ai, but I'm not super knowledgeable about where to get the best deal. I have a free account, by the way. I don't even pay for it, so I don't know. I read that people have been using t3.chat, but I honestly I don't have first-hand experience with any of this stuff, so I wouldn't know. One sec, I'm looking at some stuff. Okay, cool. Okay, so what do we do here? How do we turn this stuff off if it's macOS? Let's see what Andrew had in that issue. So he knew about the web server stuff, that's for sure. Yeah, fail to load debug information. Not sure why that crash happens. There is a separate bug that should be addressed first. So that's actually what we did. We solved the other crashes. Actually, why did he crash? Oh, well, I think I know why he crashed, but in any case, yeah, we solved this. But the main reason my query is not supported yet is that this code incorrectly assumes ELF. Zik has matched support for debugging info in the standard library already. Only some straightforward glue code is missing. Maybe this is us. Maybe we should do this stuff. Sections, dwarf section array, dwarf null section array, elf module, dwarf.elf module load path, GPA path, null sections array null, elf module dwarf sort compile units, info has some coverage in it. And then you do info.addressmap.put GPA elf module base address elf module. Man, I don't know. I think I think to be able to pull this off without too much pain, you kind of would need to know exactly how this stuff works. I'm not sure I know exactly how that works, but who knows? Maybe we can try our hand at it. At that. Actually, if we solve this, then we don't need to worry about turning off the web server anymore. So maybe that's worth it. Let's see. So I have this guy. I think we might need more stuff like that. So this part is, this part we need to fix also in LVM. Yeah. Metro can hardcode stuff for Mac, but LVM cannot hardcode stuff for Mac. So let's go in LVM. This is not built-in target. This is something different. Wait, how do I know what we are even targeting? Do we have access to compilation? We have target. There we go. I guess this can be an if instead of a switch. Match inner argument, match around argument. Oh, come on, it doesn't get the argument. I Okay, so we fix this. This is fine. This is just a comma. This we fixed already. This we fixed, I think, all of it. Now we have the panic, which we want to remove. Yeah, there's a bunch of panics that are left all around. Okay. Let's look at the diff now. What we are changing now compared to the commit. Let's see if in the green stuff there's anything weird. So far, it doesn't look like it. I'm going to commit with amend, so we should see weird stuff afterwards also. It should be more clear even. Git status. This commit implements the linker related code required to have um, fuzz testing compilation succeed on macOS. Is this it? Well, it's not just that. If testing compilation succeed, well, required to have the hello world. Let's say the zig init. Required to have the zig init. Can you find me test succeed on macOS? It fixes usage of the linker in order to account for macOS specific hello prevent. The control you and Toggle have is really good. No, it's really goo. Oh, I was hoping it would be good, but it's just goo. Oh well. I guess we're one letter away from good. Almost good. It's like 90% good. I see. Do-do-do. Why did I hear some Zulip noise and then I have no Zulip message? Oh, I see. Okay. Let's see. They're funny to listen to. I have it on while I work. Well, thank you. Glad you had fun. Yeah, I think that this is a successful experiment. It certainly is from my perspective. I think that so far Toggle has been. By the way, Toggle has been extremely supportive of the whole thing. Like, let me tell you why we started doing this thing. Okay, I in passing, I was chatting with him. I told him that I was getting close to being able to apply for becoming Twitch partner. So, you get the blue check mark next to your name and a couple other minor things. So at the end of the day, it's not even that big of a deal. But I told him that I was getting close and that I was probably like, I was getting there. And so he said, well, you know what? Tell me exactly what it is that you need. Like, how far along are you? And so he said, you know what? We could try to do things that get you past the threshold quicker. And so this is why we started thinking, like I told, we agreed to having come on my stream, which, if you remember, that's how it started. And then with the idea of we do this just so that more people show up, and then I get my channel past the threshold with his help. But yeah, then people seem to have actually started liking it more. It's certainly fun for me. Like, we crack a lot of jokes, or at least I do. You know what? I crack jokes that make me laugh. I hope that you guys laugh too, at least to some degree. But at the end of the day, I entertain myself, I guess, more than anything else. But regardless, yeah. So Toggle has been basically supporting me all the way through with this stuff. Sorry, Karitam, you lost the entire explanation. So let's see. Fixes the usage of the linker in order to account for macOS specific symbol mangling, and introduces some checks in the fuzzer code to prevent crashes in case that instrumented code is invoked before fuzz init runs. In the start code, well, let's say at so this implementation of the app has been added to the start code because when linking libc, is this a libc thing? It has something to do with it, but I'm not confident in making a statement like this. Okay, let's add it to the start code to help reduce the amount of needlessly. Meaning that any, well, let's have a call, any function call, any non-inlined no, I guess I put a bunch of explanations in there That's good. So, okay, I think this can be a commit. Let's look now at the diff. Good change. Good change. Good change. Oh, this guy also has an if. Disgusting, man. I forgot about this. I have to say though, yeah, you know what? I chickened out from making a change, but this really screams from this really screams for no, you never allow the fuzzer to get to the empty string. You hardcode testing the empty string at the beginning. You hardcode the start code and then you never get back to the empty string ever again. This really screams for it. Okay. In any case, so previously we were doing start Sankov counters. Now we do start Sankov counters, but also this other one. Blah, blah, blah. New call to disable instrumentation. Yep. Yep. Okay, this seems great. New empty lines. Whatever. Okay, this is all good. You know what? I just want to change briefly the commit message. I think I wanted to add another thing. Removing temporarily the code that bails out when the fuzzer has not been initted. Bails out from the code that bails out from instrumentation callbacks when the fuzzer has not been initted can be used to turn early and wasteful execution of instrumented code into a crash helping finding places where to put more calls to disable instrumentation. Fine, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna be a good boy. Okay, it was good. Now, can we tackle? Well, do we pass tests? I'm not sure if we pass tests. Maybe I should trigger a. You know what? Let's build, run a couple tests, see if this stuff isn't horribly regressed, at least. And then we can start gearing up for the website stuff. The website stuff is going to be interesting. So Andrew mentioned that we have match support. Let's see. Sigma M3 Pro, I got the following. Yeah, people were reporting other crashes, I guess. Oh, yeah. I know about that one. Okay. I mean, how bad could that be, right? How bad could that even be, right? You know what? Maybe we Maybe we call it a day. We make this comment and call it a day. I don't know. You know what? I want to attempt a little bit. I don't promise that I'm gonna push it to the end, but I want to attempt a little bit. Not too long though. Let's say 40 minutes, and then if it doesn't work, I'm gonna go have dinner, no matter what. Why is Weeaboo on YouTube? I wouldn't mind learning Zig if someone paid me for it. Being paid to learn stuff is a pretty sweet deal, isn't it? Oh, so Zig 2, I don't know what build test what? Test STD? Test cases? I think it's in test cases, my test. No. Maybe yes. I don't know. Also, the skip release. I don't know. Let's run something and see what happens, I guess, at that point. Okay. So here we have the web server stuff. I think it's... Is this one? No. Is it this one? Oh man, my mouse is lagging like crazy. What do we even do with this stuff? Web server.zig at entry point 650. I think this stuff might have shifted around a little bit. Maybe not so much. Prepare tables. Coverage file path. Mapped memory. Sim product counters header. Sorted program counters. Oh, there's even sorting happening. Unfortunately, the PC's array that LVM gives us from the 8B PC counters feature is not sorted. Huh. Oh, but there's the bug info dot stuff. And I think that's the problem. You know what? Maybe we should just watch it crash. Oh, I just recreated it. I exited Helix, and now my cursor is in the middle of stuff. But I don't think it was just exiting Helix. Wait, maybe we can do this. Split down. Here we have Helix. Then we exit this and we close this. Here's a good repro. Yeah, actually the one Helix. Wait, why is this not skipping non-native? Why is it testing MIPS Linux? Come on, man. Okay, I'm killing this. There we go. So we tried to start the web server and then we got into a panic. Attempt to use null value. WS coverage files is null. Invalid elf magic. Yeah, failed to load debug information. Panic attempt to wait, but why run test? Wait a second. So why is this error not causing a crash? Why is this just printing an error? Well, I guess it's because multi-threading, but also, why is there no synchronization? Like, is this a race condition here? Let's go to definition of debug info. Load GPA, so debug info load. Fail to load debug information for. Is that what we're seeing? Yes. I am confused though. Why? Coverage condition dot broadcast. So there is synchronization. But the other thread is probably getting woken up the wrong way. Wait, well, let's look at the other code. Where is it? 679. Okay, so it's not that far. Oh, I guess the idea is that this guy starts with the lock and it only releases it once it's done. I see. No, I'm not sure actually that makes sense though, because who calls prepare tables? I'm not sure I understand the relationship with the other thread. It's kind of sus, but in any case, that's not the problem that we're trying to solve now. The problem is that this guy is failing, right? Fail to load debug information. Okay, so it's debug info load that assumes Linux. Oh yeah. Okay, so yeah, this guy straight up assumes Linux no matter elf, no matter what. So I don't know. I guess a step forward would be assume dwarf, but not elf, right? Not the final solution, obviously, because you also need to account for, I guess, non-dwarf. Maybe. Actually, do people use dwarf on Windows? I'm not even sure. In any case, so let's see. This calls elf module, populate ranges, creates an info thing with coverage, and then calls put elf module base address. So this goes up here, and then we do here if else which. We don't have built in. Surely macOS can just be self-contained in here and it's nothing crazy. Okay, what do we do in macOS? I guess it would be var something like macho module. It's gonna be a one-to-one, right? It's not gonna be any different. Dwarf dot macho module, right? Of course not. Why would it work that way? Is macho. Windows uses PDB, right? Good point. So we can't do match module. Is it uppercase O? Of course not. So there's load path. I guess we want to see what other load stuff we have. Alpha module has load path, and that's it. So load path. And then it does load. So how does macho work in here? Is there like another macho sub thing that we need to get into? We have is macho. I guess who touches is macho? This guy inherits his macho from this thing. Unwind frame macho. I think we need to go inside std.macho. Header version. Do we have function load path? Of course. Why would we have load path? Let's look at public functions, I guess. So this is all. This is sections. This is end list. Yeah. Load command iterator. Yeah. Wait, that's it? What the heck? This doesn't contain match. This only contains the types. Debug self info. Open. This is open. The other one was open path. This one is just open. Is this how it works? Self info. If native OS is Windows, we're going to ignore that one for now. Just return debug info. Wait, what? But then you have to do stuff, right? You can't just end here init. So there's open and there's init. I'm guessing init is open plus something else. No, wait, init is called here. Okay, so what does init do? Right, it was I was reading a moment ago. So it does a bunch of Windows specific stuff. And if it's not Windows, it does nothing. Then there's the init, get module, lookup module, lookup module, lookup module, blah blah blah, lookup module. Then there's module. Oh, module has, okay, so there's the macOS version of it. And it has load O file. O file path. Get symbol at address. Get symbol from PDB. The init. And there's Windows module, which I guess so different that it has a completely different thing. Read Elf debug info. Read Macho debug info. Okay, this seems useful. This self-info stuff seems useful. Although this is internal. Wait, who's using this? Why is this stuff not public? Also, how did I get in here? We were in Dwarf. How did we get into that thing? So it seems that inside of debug info, there is a way. So there is no Macho module. But there is something that we can use. So I suspect that basically we're doing manually what this thing is doing. Let's see, this opens a file, mmap, and then calls load. Load does a lot of stuff. No, I think we want some of the stuff from self-info. Yeah. So how do we land in self-info? Is it because I looked at usages of is macho? Oh, I see. So I got in there because we were looking at is macho, and that got us into self-info. But self-info open doesn't do a lot. Although this might be our starting point. So let's look at here. So macho module is going to be, let's see. Does debug? Oh, it's debug self-info. And then what do you call on self-info? So this calls init. Produces this. Windows specific stuff. Otherwise return debug info. Get module for address. Oh, there we go. Then you call these things. And so you don't use the other thing. Okay. Get module for address, look up module dilib. I think this is the public interface, basically. It's one of these things that we need to use. What do we even do in here? So elf module populate ranges and then address map dot put. Is there populate ranges? Of course not. Why would there be? Why use the whole self-info if you just need the module? Why use the whole self-info if you just need the module? Well, first of all, apparently there can be more than one module. It seems. No. Apparently not. Apparently there isn't even modules with this. There's the address map. Let's look at module then. Module is pub. The problem with module is that it only has private functions. It doesn't have public functions at all. Oh, it has a get symbol at address. Okay. It has get O file info for address, get dwarf info for address. That seems interesting, I think. It does have get dwarf info for address. I think this might be what we're looking for. The problem is we're not doing this stuff for a specific address in info for Linux. We don't even have a specific address to worry about. We have so this info is the bug info sorted by key ascending externally managed outlives this info instance. Okay. Address map. Oh no, we're toast. This address map expects elf modules. So we can't return info. Oh man. It is so annoying. Let's look at the caller code. So that web server calls load, gets debug info. What does it call on debug info? It calls the init, go to references, and then it calls the resolve addresses, which is what the other thing has. I guess we want to put a switch there, maybe. No, you know what? Actually, never mind. I think we changed the whole type of this thing. This is so annoying. I think I'm starting to understand what's going on. I think that self-info is providing some of this stuff already. I'm starting to think that self-info should be what we use also in this case, honestly. You know what? Let's do this. Address map. Populate ranges. Self-info is for netting info. Indeed. Let's see, what does it do for... Yeah, for Linux, it just gives you... It's just dwarf module. So self-info is just elf module on... But then, wait a second. Okay, std.debug.selfinfo. Okay, let's assume that this is the case. Oh, base address. Populate ranges. And then F module base address. We don't have this. We don't have populate ranges, I think, for the other one. Is it necessary? Does it make sense? I don't know. How do we get a base? So if this thing is supposed to index stuff by base address, where do we get the base address of our stuff? Dwarf elf module load path. How do we get the base address in that case? You know what? I think I want another terminal that we keep rooted into the SSD stuff. So init on Windows, it does this. Lookup module. 764. Lookup module name. Lookup module will 32. Look at module DL. So look at module down low. Scan all on Win info. It has base address. Module has base address. But how do we get our hands on a module? Get module for address. Returns the module name for a given address. This can be called when get module for address fails, so implementation should provide a path that doesn't rely on any side effects of a prior successful module lookup. Also, another thing I don't understand is because there's like two sorted maps, two addresses maps. One is here on the outside, and then there's one on the inside. That's another part that I'm not sure I understand what's going on. We can't do populate ranges. We don't know what our base address is supposed to be. Is it the factual runtime base address, or is this the virtual address, like on file base address? We don't know that. Well, I guess I'm guessing this should be the runtime one, which I guess we could find by finding what's the section at the very top. Actually, now that I think about it, macOS Macho has like a section that goes at the very top. What do you call it? Yeah, give me section headers for text. I think there was another one. Isn't it the EH frame? Well, no, that one is definitely not at the very start. Text is at the very start in our case. Why were we talking about EH frame the last time we were touching linker stuff? There was somebody in chat that was knowledgeable about these things. We're talking about EH frame. I think the assumption was that it was. What does EH frame contain, I guess? Is this a symbol thing? I guess do you assume that text is where it starts every single time? Okay, let's see what get stuff we have. Get module for address. Get module name for address. And on Darwin it calls lookup module DYLD. image count. Load command iterator. And then let's see, it tries to find, oh, there we go, EH frame. Here's a mention of EH frame. It tries to find EH frame. What does it do with EH frame? I forget what this thing is supposed to be. It just cares about EH frame. Oh, what about base address? Yeah, let's go. In from pointer header. Int from pointer header. Also, where's TLD get image header? Oh, that makes sense actually. Yeah, the starting point is where the header is. So that makes total sense. That's the base address. So I guess this is how we get the base address. I don't know about this index. Let's do question mark. I don't think I necessarily didn't think it's in the right way, but at least we're making some progress. Now we have the base address, but then we don't have any module. So we need a module, but also, does it put more modules in there? I get resolve addresses. Given an array of virtual memory addresses sorted ascending, outputs a corresponding array of source locations. Panic to do. Elf module is the first one. Resolve addresses dwarf. Macho search symbols. Okay, so how did we do the module stuff? Unwind context. Unwind frame dwarf. Get module for address. That gives us a module. And a module can we always do .dwarf? So Linux can do .dwarf, right? Windows can also do .dwarf, apparently, although it's optional. Linux is literally elf module. Okay, so they do .dwarf on that one. Can we do .dwarf on the macOS one? Base address, map memory, symbols, strings, O files, unwind info, EH frame. O file table is a string hash map of O file info. O file info contains dwarf information. Get symbol at address. Get file info for address. Relocated address, symbol, O file info. Get dwarf info for address. I guess that's what we want. That returns a dwarf. Get dwarf info for address once you have a module. So here we're putting self-info. No, that's not what we want to put. We want to put module. Is it the bug module? Where is module defined? Oh, no, it's self-info.module. Okay. So it creates one that has the bug info that contains modules. This thing contains an address map with. Mm, 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 mm. Okay, I think I'm slowly converging to something that makes sense. Just very slowly. So we do want the self-info, I think. It's just that it contains an address map already. And this points to modules. Okay, let's try to make it. Let's try to make this compile on macOS. So resolve addresses then takes a list of addresses. This grabs the first guy and then calls resolve addresses dwarf by calling alphamodule.dwarf. Get module for address. Address is I guess sorted PC address is 0. Maybe. Or maybe it's keys 0. Let's do keys 0 maybe. Dev returns. Maybe this guy should mention an argument. Mention an argument. Of course not. Yeah, let's put this stuff in a different function. I mean, in a different line. Const module equals. We try this. And that gives us a module. But then we need to get dwarf. So module doesn't have dwarf on macOS right away. We need to call get module for, no, we have that. Then we call get dwarf info for address. This can fail. This can both fail and also return null. I don't know, man. Okay, so hopefully, I don't know. Maybe this makes sense. Maybe it does not. I'm not sure. And then we have the init. Oh, this is calling the init on the dwarf stuff, not the full elf module. Man, I hate this elf module stuff. Does it not have the init? It does. Oh, but it's doing also POSIX and map. And here it seems that we do not want to do POSIX and map. Interesting. I have no idea about this nuance here. I think I should. One problem is that I'm using self-info. I should do self-info.module. Yeah, and I should not put the self-info as a whole thing instead. I should do the module thing there. I put the module in there. Yeah. So this way we don't get this, but we get a module. Then we have an address, and then we do module. get dwarf info for address. Returns a pointer to module. Well, this previously was not a pointer to, was it? Load path returns. Yeah, an actual elf module, not a pointer to. Ah. Why does this return a pointer? This also is doing a map. So maybe we just want to do this. And maybe this. I don't know. Load O file. So yeah, where do we get our pointer from that thing? We don't really know. Well, I guess it's because it's stored in an internal hash map, huh? You know what we can do? Let's do a dot star in this case. Let's uncomment the init stuff for now. This should be fine. Okay, let's see how far we get with this. Unhandled enumeration value. Oh no. Yeah, some of these switches, huh? Separate compilation of compiler RT failed to do implement the bug info loading for the target platform. Oh, right. These can't be compile errors. They need to be panics. Wait a second. I had two else's. Wait, what? Not a member of the destination error set. I think some of these tries are sus. I'm gonna eat those errors with a panic for now. More? Wait, what's going on? Who else is pooping itself? I guess it's here they have to put it. Not a member of the destination set. Oh, I think there's another one down below, huh? Okay, so we're making kind of a mess. We're leaking memory. We're not following the APIs correctly. The relationship between modules and debug info, it's a bit fuzzy to me. I guess the idea is that if you have dynamic linking, you're gonna have multiple dwarf files, I guess. And so I'm guessing that's what that system is supposed to represent. But the fact that we have two address maps is kind of sus. Although it does make sense. One is used by our system that assumes ordering and that tries to solve addresses that way. And then the other one is about ranges that come from different, like, that belong to different DLLs, basically. So in reality, we don't care about we don't care about the extra machinery about DLLs, because the assumption, at least for now, is that fuzzing runs only on the main executable. It doesn't run on DLLs. Let's see how that goes. Does linking libc disable certain compiler optimizations? To some degree, yes. One optimization that a compiler can do, one of the main ones, is called inlining. And basically, a function call stops being a real function call and becomes the machine code of that function gets inlined into the caller right away, like directly. And if you have dynamic linking, you can't do that across the dynamic linking boundary. Like you can't inline glibc function calls anymore, for example. I noticed a significant slowdown in a programming road when linking libc, but not adding any other code. There's also some other changes. It's not really so. What I did mention just now is a missing optimization, but there's also other things that are like differences that aren't necessarily missing optimizations. It's just different behavior that might impact your program negatively. I don't know. I think we're gonna poop ourselves while trying to load those dwarf info. Hello, S3. I think we're gonna poop ourselves, and then I'm gonna give up and go have dinner instead. I was going to dig into it with a profiler. Yeah, maybe that's not a bad approach. Also, if it's not something too convoluted, maybe somebody could help you in one of the usual places, I guess. Let's see. Panic. Attempt to use null value. Oh. Mission failed. This does not work. Let's try with... Yeah, I don't know, man. I maybe should print what this is. Will this work? I don't think so, but we can try. So the problem is that get dwarf info for address did not work. Now, which address are we even supposed to pass to it? I don't even know, man. I don't even know. Like, what address are you supposed to give to it? Get all file info for address. What is this address used for? Relocated address, VM address slide. Translate the VA into an address into this object. Provided address minus VM address slide. And self in this context is module. Oh, get symbol at address. This is interesting data. So get symbol at address wants an address of a symbol. But then what it does is call get O file info for address. And it's the address of a symbol. So the address that you pass in can be an address of a symbol, which I guess is good. So it doesn't have necessarily to be, I don't know, like the starting address of that thing. It can be, I guess, any address. And then like there's a range check somewhere, I'm guessing. Find compile unit. Macho search symbols. Oh, I also should delete my cache. Something I need to think about. I'm going to delete my cache after this. And if it doesn't work, I'm going to call it a day. That's already enough. Okay, so base address is this guy. First address is before the base address. What? Base address is before the first address? That's kind of sus. That is definitely kind of sus. I always wonder why the macOS executable format was named Macho. I have no idea. Well, I think this is it for me, guys. I'm really like moving in the darkness. I don't know how this stuff works well enough. I started reading I read a PDF about the macOS file format. So I know how a macho file format, the macho file format. So I know how a macho executable looks like. And I understand the concept of segments and sections and how they relate to one another, and the idea of commands. But this PDF doesn't really clarify the relationship of this stuff with dwarf information, with debug info. There's like a very minor mention of dwarf stuff, but not a lot. Like this is the only real mention. When using the stuff as debugging format, when using dwarf, debugging information is stored in the images corresponding DSIM file specified by the UUID command structure. So it doesn't say a lot about dwarf debug info. I guess I will have to ask somebody how to proceed. One thing that can bite you with Macho is that they need to be at least 4 kilobyte in size or they will be killed by the OS. Yeah, I remember the stuff needs to be aligned. Otherwise, it really doesn't like it. Okay, so I think this is it. Let me see if there is anybody else doing Zig live right now. Build a Laravel app in one day or we fire Taylor Otwell. Okay. Melky is doing Go. Giga Game Dev making Armored Core. Godot. Man, nobody's doing. There should be more people doing Zig. Honestly, that's what I would like to do. Write another Zig streamer. Oh well. Well, you know what? I think I'm just gonna be lazy and call it a day. Thank you everybody for hanging out. I think I'll see you next time. Bye bye.